It is the top of the hour. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I'm Nichole Berlie, live in Chicago. And right now, we are following President Trump today as he meets with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer while the two refine a trade deal between the two countries. It also comes as the United States and United Kingdom seek peace for Ukraine, with President Trump saying Russia's opportunity to make a deal is closing. Meantime, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is increasing, the president putting the blame on Israel. Correspondent Kelly Meyer live for us there at the White House. And Kelly, the president saying the U.S. needs to help feed starving children.
Yeah, absolutely. A major break there with Israel's prime minister. You said some major news there as well on Russia. Global conflicts, a major focus for the president's talks overseas today. President Trump taking a stand when it comes to what's happening in Gaza, breaking with Israel's prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, by saying there is real starvation in Gaza. Take a listen.
We want to get the children fed. We made a contribution a week ago of $60 million, all going into food. We only hope the food goes to the people that need it, because so much, as you know, when you do something there, it gets taken by Hamas or somebody, but it gets taken. But and we're prepared to help. You know, we want to help. It's a terrible situation.
Criticism of Israel intensifying over the weekend as images of dead and malnourished children were shared. President Trump announcing today that the U.S. would build food centers in Gaza along with other countries and work with Europe to get aid flowing. Israel started airdrops of aid over the weekend and opened humanitarian corridors. But Israel's prime minister has said there is no starvation there. President Trump saying today, I see it and you can't fake that, he said, so we're going to be even more involved. President Trump again dismissed the idea of recognizing Palestine as a state, but he didn't condemn the European countries who are. French President Emmanuel Macron last week, he announced France would recognize the state of Palestine. And it all comes as the U.S., Israel, Qatar, they're all working together to reach a ceasefire deal with Hamas, as well as a hostage deal. President Trump says Hamas has been very difficult to deal with these last couple of days. As sources tell me, his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is still working on finding a solution, and things, quote, are picking up again. President Trump says he is speaking with Netanyahu and coming up with various plans, he says. Nichole.
All right. So, Kelly, what more do we know also about trade deals being reached during this trip?
Yeah, and a major one reached with the EU. President Trump calling that, quote, the biggest deal ever made, agreeing on Sunday on a framework setting a 15% tariff on most European goods, things like cars, computer chips, and pharmaceuticals. And that's half of what was expected to be brought on by Friday if no deal was reached by Trump's August 1st deadline. But the tariffs paid when Americans buy European products could be going up for U.S. consumers. Today, President Trump turned his attention to his meeting with UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Now, the two already reached a trade deal back in May, and the primary focus of that meeting was on Gaza. But the president did tout how much the deal between the U.S. and UK means for their relationship.
The trade deal was made with UK. The Prime Minister did a great job. You know, they've been trying to make that deal for 12 years, and he got it done. So everybody respects it. It's going to be a lot of jobs for here and great for America. And, you know, in terms of even the relationship, our relationship is unparalleled, but it keeps it even closer. You know, when you're able to have a good trade deal, it keeps it even closer.
I'm told negotiations are ongoing with several different countries as the president works to lock in deals ahead of the deadline this Friday. That's when his sweeping tariffs go into effect. The U.S. has already reached deals with a handful of countries from the UK, Japan, EU, Indonesia, and Vietnam. The United States Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, he's in Sweden today for trade talks with China as well. The White House certainly celebrating walking away with that win on the EU trade deal during this trip, but not all world leaders were happy about it. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban mocked the new U.S.-EU trade deal, saying, quote, this isn't an agreement. This is Trump simply eating von der Leyen for breakfast. That's the European Commission president. Nichole.
All right. Kelly Meyer live for us there in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.